So here is an interesting example. This column contains multiple text inputs. I want to create a long list of individual words, and then I want to know each word appeared how many times. Each word is going to appear at least once. So if I put 1, then there will be too many items. That's why I'm saying anything more than 2 I want to see. And then some common words like say is are going to appear too many times. So I can adjust the range. There's one more complication. These punctuation symbols I want to get rid of. So I made an exclude list that has to be removed before we do any other processing. You can download the sample file. Link is in the description. Download the file, change the data in the table in column A with your data, and then you will get a list of unique words and their counts. If you want to know how this was done and understand the formulas, continue watching the video. These two both are tables. This table is called data. This table is called unwanted. Now let's see how to create a list of all words. There's a complex formula, but we will go step by step. In order to simplify complex formulas, we use the let statement so that we can calculate it in steps. So let function we need to understand first. Simple example, I have two numbers here, two numbers here. Let allows you to define variables. So the first thing you type is the name of the variable, x. Instead of saying x is equal to n2, n3, just put comma. So value of x is defined here. The next one is y. What is y? This range. Now I am defining z. The value of that is sum of x divided by sum of y. And then the next one is, it's saying result is whatever is z. What is the benefit? I don't have to type the range here. Very often the same parameter is used multiple times, and this makes it simpler. And if it is calculation, the calculation happens only once. So performance also improves. So that's the let function. So coming back, we are using the let function to define our input, which is the main table first column, characters to remove, which is the second table exclude column, and then a temporary variable number of characters, which basically is counting how many rows are there in the unwanted characters table. There is a temporary input defined. Clean text is input. Input means the original text. Now we go to final. There's another variable, and here we are trying to do a lot of things. I want to go through each row in our input data. Then I want to go to each row in the unwanted column and substitute. So first we need to understand the substitute function. This is the input, and there are a lot of exclamation marks there. I want to get rid of them. Substitute. First parameter is original text. Which text you are trying to remove? In this case only one character, exclamation. And when it finds exclamation mark, what do you want to replace it with? That's the new text. Empty means nothing. So that's how I got rid of those exclamation marks. Now in our case the situation is a little different because we have multiple input text, each row in the table, and multiple characters here. So we have to go in a loop, and that is what is happening here. Reduce is a way to define a loop. So we need to understand how reduce works. So this is the input. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I want to multiply 1 with 2, with 3, with 4 and 5. And then I just want the total. So of course I could have used the product function, but here it's just a demo. First we have to start with the initial value. Let's make it 0. But if I make it 0 and I'm multiplying it, it's not going to work. So initial value has to be 1. This reduce function is going to loop across things. This is the array. And now for each item in that array, what has to happen? Some function has to run. And a way to define functions is lambda. It takes two parameters. First parameter, I am calling it accumulated value. Second parameter, the current value. And the third one is actual calculation. So this is a parameter, this is a parameter, and this is a calculation. It out. So now what's going to happen is it's going to go from each row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will be given the current value, and then accumulated multiplied by current. For this row, the value of current will be 1. Accumulated has no value, so it will take the initial value 1. So 1 is to 1 is 1. Now it will go in the loop. Now the current value will become 2 and it will multiply. Then whatever is the value 2 now will be put in accumulated. Now we will come to 3. Now current value will be 3, accumulated will be 2. Like that it's going to go through the entire loop and give us the results. Essentially this is like a factorial. You don't need this function called reduce to do factorial. We already have factorial function. But this is a great way to understand how the reduce function works. So in our case, we have two arrays to work with. Clean text we have just defined here, which is same as the input data. This is our initial value. And then we are going to go into the sequence of how many, whatever number of rows we have, that we have already calculated here, number of characters. Then the actual function where we are going to substitute these characters. Current text is the starting point for this. This is the current value. This is the accumulated value. And then we are going to use the substitute with the current text and then pick up the character to remove by going through the list of characters. It is going to iterate and then finally we will get a long list of things with all the unwanted characters removed. But this is still a long list. We want to combine them into a single long text because these are different rows. We don't want that. So this is where we are creating another variable and we are saying whatever came from this step, which is final, just join all of them together and between two things put a spacebar. Now we want to split the text between every space and then we'll get a long list of individual words. Now I want to get rid of words which are empty. That's done. And then I want to convert them to lowercase characters so that comparison is simpler. And that is what will give us a list of all the items. Now the words will repeat. Using this list, we'll create a list of unique words, which is easy, unique and H2. Why H2? Because this is the place where the word list is getting created. Why hash? Because if I remove hash, it will pick up only the first value. It's a dynamic list, so I want the entire list. So hash will refer to it. And then I want to do countif. I want to know the word multiple appeared how many times in the list of all words. So countif is simple. The original range, which has all the words including duplicates, and this list I2, which has unique words. So that will give me the output I need. Now remember, these are two separate formulas and separate arrays. What I want to do next is to put them in a single sort of table. First column is word, second column is count. Second, I want to sort them in descending order of count, number 2. And number 3, I want to get rid of some unwanted stuff because every word is going to appear at least once. And some common words are going to appear too many times. So I have created a lower limit and upper limit, and then I want to filter only those which are within the count. Now how do you do this? Our inputs are two separate lists, but we want to treat them as a single list. That is the good old choose function. So I have written the number 2 here, but I want to convert that to Tuesday. 1 means Monday, 2 means Tuesday, and so on. So the function goes like this. Choose what? The number which is coming from here. If this is 1, use the first parameter. If this is 2, use the second parameter, like that. I have 1 and 2. I want both because we have 2 columns. I want a combined output as an array. So the first parameter, index number, is an array. Curly braces means array. So 1, 2, that means this function will run twice. One with 1 number, next with 2 number. And then whatever is in 1 and whatever is in 2 will get sort of combined. So this is how a single function is giving me both. And that is exactly what we need. So let's understand this function. The first parameter x is combining those two outputs. One is unique words, second column J2 hash is count. Now we can treat them as a single table. The second parameter y is referring to the second column, choose column from x, which column? Second column. And then we are filtering from X, which is the whole table, based on two criteria. Y, which is second column right here, which is the count, should be greater than or equal to lower limit and less than or equal to high limit. This is the filter. Now sort. What is sort doing? This is the array. We want to index it or sort it on the second column because that's the count, and it is descending, so -1. So there you have it. Now you'll say, why go to all this trouble? So one of the customers I recently went to had this requirement. I can't tell you the exact details due to confidentiality, but broadly speaking, they had a long list of items in a table. Multiple people are entering data in the table and they want to avoid duplicates. Now, because it's a free-form text, there is no way to avoid duplicates by simply remove duplicate kind of functions. So we had to have a method of identifying duplicate individual words rather than the whole text. Now, this was just one example of many such activity optimizations I did for a customer. In a matter of 3 days, I worked with 100 plus people, looked at what they're doing, improved their processes, and you'll be surprised to know that I saved them 22,000 plus hours on a yearly basis. Everything was optimized by just using the products correctly. Excel, Power BI, and various other tools in the Microsoft platform. So if you want your organization to benefit from such phenomenal optimization, do get in touch with me. And if you like this particular video, you already know what to do. Share it with as many people as you can and tell me if you liked it in comments. So that's it for now. See you next time. Thank you.